All right. Good afternoon, New Bedford Guide, New Bedford Live, South Coast followers. We're here live with Mayor Jon Mitchell, do our weekly Thursday at 4 o'clock interview. So how you doing there, Mayor Mitchell?
I'm doing all right, Mike. Good to see you.
Yeah, getting ready for the heat's coming quick. So we're getting ready for this Memorial Day weekend. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the events. But I'd like to start each time, obviously, with a status of COVID. We'll talk about some Dunkin' Donut gift cards that people can get soon. But really, are we still in red, or have we transitioned out of that at all?
Yeah, under the state's color category, we are yellow now. I think the public pays a lot more attention to the color designations than we do. I mean, we look at a set of factors that include the positive rate, the number of new cases, the number of hospitalizations, and so forth. And we've seen in the last week a pretty sharp drop in new cases, which is good, and a drop in the positive rate. So, we're making progress. And I think, as I said last week, we are, going to leave just some modest restrictions in place. That as of this weekend, the state's restrictions will have been lifted, and we will leave in place some restrictions in municipal buildings. We'll continue to require mask wearing in municipal buildings, and we'll encourage employers with public spaces to do the same. But that's ultimately up for them to decide. But we just think that just some precaution should be in order, and these aren't things that are disruptive. I think everybody can handle this stuff. But this weekend coming up, Memorial Day week, it's the traditional kickoff of summer. So I think people will feel like, they're turning the page, and that's great. But I would just say, look, we've been at this pandemic for a while, and, COVID's not going away entirely. COVID has become much more manageable thanks to the vaccines. And but we're going to have to continue to take precautions going forward, and we can talk about how the vaccination programs will factor into that.
So if I get it right, the state lifts everything on the 29th. New Bedford's doing that except the municipality buildings, but everyone else is kind of on their own rules, basically.
Yeah. I mean, we encourage. Look, there's still a fair amount of disease out there, and here in the city, a little more than 40% of folks have their first dose. In the region, it's a little bit higher, but still lower than the state average. And so, I think there's a need for some caution still. But we've been emphasizing that the uptake of vaccines. We have mobile vaccination clinics, as you know, in a number of places. The one on the waterfront's going to go away, but we have other ones out and about in different places. People should. I'm sure you'll be publishing where those all are. But we will be in places like where we were this week at the industrial park. There'll be other places on the waterfront. There'll be supermarkets, all the places like where people are. We're going to where people are. The incentives will leave in place. We have the Dunkin' Donuts card incentive that we've had in place for Bedford residents 65 and older. So if you go to one of our mobile clinics, you get a shot, you will get a $20 gift certificate. We're going to be expanding the eligibility for that, and starting tomorrow. And so everybody can get a Dunkin' Donuts gift card if they get their first shot at one of the city's clinics. So we really want to promote that over the course of the month. That'll be in effect until the end of June. So hopefully that'll bring some more people into the door and continue to help stabilize things.
Yeah, I just posted in the comments. So New Bedford residents of any age, it used to be for older residents, receive a COVID vaccine at a specific clinic site in the city will receive $20 Dunkin' gift card with their first dose beginning tomorrow, May 29th through June 30th. So I put that in the links. Share that with your friends and family. Let them know. Don't go by there if you've already gotten your shots. They won't give you a gift card if you've already gotten it.
Yeah, it's just for people coming in for their first shot. So if you're already gotten your shots, you're out of luck.
Yeah, I got mine.
Appreciate your business.
I got my second one on Sunday. The next day, I kind of felt like a minor flu-ish for a day, and then it was over. So now, hopefully, I'll be that 90.
You're as good as new now, Mike. So that's
Yeah.
all good. Yeah, I mean, so people feel different things when they get the second shot, but nobody's told me that it's a big deal. I had mine last week and whatever. Yeah, so yeah, it felt lousy for a little bit, but it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, I want to remind people we do this 30 minutes every week with Mayor Mitchell. This is a chance for you to ask questions of the mayor. I come prepared with questions, but I'd rather have you ask questions of the mayor. And I see a few comments coming in, and I'll pull some up. But if you got a question, concern about the city, throw it out there. State level stuff, if he can answer, he will. And I'll take Renee. So she says, let's talk crime. She says, never mind COVID. We have crimes picking up a little bit. Now that it's standard in most cities that as stuff gets warmer, you have a little bit higher crime. Now we're getting all these COVID restrictions lifting. But the problem, we talked about it last week, is you have a police force that might not be at full capacity. People are not coming out of the academy as faster. They're retiring more. We'll get a double whammy this year. So you have like nice weather coming, but you also have less COVID restrictions. Is the city prepared for that?
The police department's prepared for that. We discussed this last week. Every summer, in the lead up to every spring, we prepare for people being out and about more in the summer. I mean, if you look in every U.S. city, you see an uptick of crime in the summer months because people are out and about, interacting with one another. Sometimes people are up to no good, whatever, but they're out, and so that requires some preparation on the part of the police department. So the preparations include doing a little more outreach, door knocking by some of our street teams, and so they've been doing that. That sort of thing has been harder during COVID, and that's why you've seen we've been doing it pretty well here. That's why you've seen the real uptick in crime across the board in the United States. We've been spared that uptick, but we've had a couple of incidents lately that have caused us some concern. So we're going to continue to do the outreach, continue to do the saturated patrols in the areas where we think that things could start to get active, and that's how you do it. It's roll up your sleeves and get down to work.
Yeah, so obviously the big thing this weekend is Memorial Day. We have 3 events in New Bedford coming up over the weekend. I'm going to pull that up on the screen. People can take a look at that. One of them is actually you can attend. The other 2 are virtual, going to be broadcast on the internet. I'm just going to pull these up right now. All right, so here they are. Scroll a little bit too fast. Okay, there we go. So Saturday, May 29th, 9 a.m. at the Royal Cemetery. You have the Great New Bedford Civil War Roundtable will conduct a memorial exercise at the Union Soldiers Burial Site in Royal Cemetery. That's on Dartmouth Street. So that's really the one event, right? No parade, but that's really the main event that residents can attend, it looks like.
Well, no, that's not the only one. So that's one of them. So that's an event we have on the Saturday Memorial Day weekend every year to commemorate, pay tribute to the New Bedford residents who served in the Civil War, and that's always been a terrific event sponsored by the Civil War Roundtable. They've been doing it for years. It's very poignant. The Fisherman's Memorial is obviously a signature New Bedford event to pay tribute to fishermen who've been lost at sea. It's been virtual. It was virtual last year, of course. It'll be virtual again this year. They suspect that it's no longer going to be an issue next year with all these events. It'll be back to normal. And then the Soldiers and Sailors Monument Service, which is really sort of in place of the Memorial Day parade, will take place at the monument, at the Soldiers and Sailors Monument in Klasky Common. That one, it is open to the public. It's a public park. It's open to the public, but there won't be a parade this year. It wasn't, and I'll just say to folks, like, you might think, well, all the restrictions are off. Why aren't you having a parade? The reason for that is it takes some time to plan the parade, and if you rewind several weeks ago, it wasn't at all clear that we would be in a position to be having, large outdoor events with lots of senior citizens by Memorial Day. And so that's, that process didn't kick off in time. So that's why. And so, but this will be, as it was last year, a very solemn service, as it should be. And we take, the business of honoring our veterans, and especially those who have died in service of their country, very seriously. And that's, even though it won't be a normal Memorial Day this year, in terms of the physical activity, the sentiment will be as it is every Memorial Day.
Yeah, we're going to miss the feast this year. We'll miss the Cape Verdean celebration parade. I heard the Whalen City Festival is back on this year. But what about, used to have some great concerts on the waterfront, jazz in the park. Any of that stuff affected this summer? Or is that something that's just not going to happen?
No, I think some of that will happen a little bit later in the summer. Again, I think we're trying to get some room from, the height of the pandemic. And so, as we think cases will continue to go down in the summertime. And so, having smaller outdoor events, a few hundred people is probably in a few weeks from now is probably going to be perfectly safe. And so we think that some of that activity will happen, and it'll be great. We'd love to see that more. The more activities that are normal, the more activities where we can bring people together safely, the better.
Yeah, and so I want to let people out there, if you're looking, we're going to go over 2 job fairs that are up and coming. I'm going to open up one of them here. So Cisco Kitchen is a big, beautiful, new bar. It's called Cisco Kitchen and Bar. They're holding a job fair on Saturday, May 29th. You can see I put it in the comments there. And the thing about that is this is the old Davies Locker. It's a really great spot. They're hiring hundreds of people. It's a major company now. People know Cisco Beer. They're kind of partnering with this company. Same guys that own the Black Whale. So it's Saturday, May 29th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I put in the comments where you can actually email your resume. And I hear you're a fan of, let's talk about that first. So I think it's a major economic development for the city, especially in the South End, which kind of needs it because Leibad's closed down. And now this is kind of the main, I think, hub for the South End.
I think this is going to be a big deal, Mike. We've worked very closely with the folks at Cisco and with Steve Silverstein, of course, who founded the Not Your Average Joe's chain of restaurants and who, owns the Black Whale and the Clam Bar on Pier 3. To make this happen, this will be the largest restaurant investment in the city's history. And it will be, it will have what's come to be known as sort of the Cisco vibe. If for people who've been to Nantucket, the Cisco, you'll recall that Cisco is this. Cisco Beer is situated at a farm in Nantucket, and they have I've been there once. They have areas for bands and beer, and they have a distillery, and it's just it's a pretty laid back atmosphere. It's kind of like it's not dissimilar. I've never been to the Buzzards Bay Brewery events that they have in the summertime, the concerts and whatnot. But my understanding is those are very similar. But what's different here is that it's on the water. So lots of it'll be live music and lots of good food. They really know what they're doing. Both Cisco and Steve. They just Steve's restaurants are successful because Steve knows what he's doing, and they make good food, but they also know how to take care of the customer. And his success, he's succeeded in really every endeavor he's launched. So, and we're just pleased that he's investing as he is in New Bedford, and we're trying to facilitate those investments. So I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be great. If you've driven by there recently, you see all the construction going on, and they're going like gangbusters. I think they're due to open in the next, 3 weeks, something like that. It's getting close.
They're trying for this weekend. It was a very aggressive timeline, but yeah, sometime in June. And you can see in there, you can apply. You can go get your shot, get a $20 gift card at Dunkin' Donuts. Head over here apply for a job, get a chance to get a $50 gift card. And the place looks fabulous. If anyone, and they're hiring for everything from dishwashers to managers to cooks, especially in the kitchen. If you have anyone out there knows looking for a job in the kitchen, just tag them in there. The other one is, I hear you're a fan of Cafe Italia.
I'm a fan of a lot of restaurants in the city. Cafe Italia is definitely on my list.
Yeah, so they're hiring as well. So if people don't know, that's just a beautiful old Standard Times building downtown New Bedford. Used to be Portobello's. They tried to open there, but now it's Cafe Italia. Cafe Italia was like the most popular spot like in the South End, and they just wanted to expand. So they moved into that building. So they're getting ready to open back up.
They have opened. In fact, I can go like this and I can actually see it here.
I mean, they're going to like fully open back up is what I should have said. Yes. So
no, they do it. I mean, I can tell you today, we looked out at lunch and the outdoor lunch area, which you're depicting now, is full. So they're doing all right. So it's a good place to work.
Yeah. So Cafe Italia, you can see on the screen there. I have an email in there. I put in the comments, and they're giving away a $250 sign-in bonus. So we want people to know about that as well.
Yeah, the job opportunities are out there. You know, it's the restaurants are coming back; they're hiring, and many others are as well. Our manufacturing sector is coming back, which is great to see. You know, we've been concerned about the sluggishness of the vaccination rate, but at the same time, the economy here is emerging very well from the pandemic. And then you layer on top of that, you know, the fact that Vineyard Wind is around the corner, which will be really significant, and a lot of the other, you know, public investment that's about to happen in the next couple of years, and it really, you know, it bodes well for us.
Yeah, if you have a question for the mayor, just post it in there. I see some. I'll get to those. I just want to go over a few things before we cover some more questions. So, mosquito spraying, that's coming up soon.
It's this time of year. It's handled by the Bristol County Mosquito Control Project. So it's run by the county and state. So, you know, what we tend to do is we try to get them to spray earlier in the season, so we don't have a triple E problem later in the season. And when we have triple E problem, obviously it's a public health problem when we have triple E out there. But we also, you know, when things are shut down, we don't want things to be shut down anymore. A couple of years ago, we and not just the city, but all of our suburbs had to shut down. You know, games at night in the fall, in the summer and fall, because of triple E. And you know, we've been dealing with over a year shutdown. And I don't think any of us would care to do that again in the fall. So yeah, so the mosquito spraying is important.
Yeah, I remember last year when we were peaking COVID, we got hit. We had the standard Triple E came in. We had the West Now came in, which is every year, but it was like pretty. I don't think it was more similar than other years. And then those like killer hornets were rumored to be coming. It was like
the four horsemen of the apocalypse. We had the plague. We had the insects. You know, we had the earthquake too, right? So
this year feels so much different. The weather's starting to change. Ian asks if there's any update on the business park. I think he's referring to the new.
He's referring to the new one.
Yeah, the one by the golf course, right?
Yeah, to the one on the municipal golf course. Yeah, so it's cleared all the major hurdles at the city level. As I think people recall, it passed through the city council and the park board. People might remember that what we're doing there is. We're opening up land for commercial development, and because Massachusetts law treats the golf course as protected parkland, we have to go through what's called an Article 97 process at the state level, and that essentially entails a vote of the legislature, a 2/3 vote of the legislature to agree to a land swap, and we've proposed a land swap to swap out a certain amount of land that the city owns in South Dartmouth by the rifle range for the land to be developed on Hathaway Road at the golf course. And so right now, to answer Ian's question, is in committee in both the House and the Senate. And on the Senate side, Senator Montigny is responsible for it. On the House side, Representative Chris Markey is responsible for it. We do not see any obstacles there, but the legislative process takes some time. We hope that it'll move forward soon. And as soon as it does, what will happen then is that we will put out a request for proposals to develop the land for the purposes that we've established, which are, commercial, industrial.
Yeah. So my question is, and something we talked about before we went live, which is South Coast Rail. There's been a lot of promises over the year. What can residents expect in, say, 2 years from now? What would South Coast Rail look like? Could someone get on I think New Bedford has up to 3. Is it 3 stations or 2? And Fall River's going to have like 2.
2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they can get on a train and head to Boston. Is that possible in the next 2 or 3 years? Or
I think it sounds like, based on our latest discussions with the state, probably closer to 3. I mean, it's publicly projected to be 2. I think that's probably going to slide. But I think as I've said before, I think it's a project that will benefit New Bedford. It'll help for people who commute to Boston and who have the time to do that. It'll provide that option, and it'll be another reason to live here. So that's good. It will not be the project that has long been promised, which is a straight shot to Boston. I think people have to be really clear on that. This rail line is built on what's called the Middleborough route, which is the route from Boston to Middleborough and Lakeville at the existing station that many people are familiar with. And it will not be a straight line from Middleborough to New Bedford. It'll go, essentially due west from the Boston to New Bedford route. It'll be a westerly turn from Middleborough all the way over to Taunton and then south to New Bedford. So it's a little bit of, it's the scenic route in other words. And so, I mean, there's some people who have, who will be able to take that. It'll be, a ride. The ride will be about an hour, a little over an hour and a half. And so it'll be a good thing, but people should not be under any illusion that this is like going to be the end all be all that it's long promised to be. It'll be a good thing, but with the work that we do here in developing our economy, the port, the business park, the cultural sector, all that stuff and the things that we'll continue to focus on. That's really been the thrust of our efforts, and having this connection to Boston is complementary of that.
all right, so we'll end on a positive note, which is Chris Moniz says, "Thanks for not being Jason Career from Fall River."
Gee, Chris, that's high praise. Look, you've heard. I've asked because of my former line of work as an assistant U.S. attorney. I get asked about that case a lot, and what I'll say is, and I know you have a number of viewers in Fall River, and I'll say the same thing again. I feel badly for the residents of Fall River. They deserve better, and they will pull through this. They have a good man at the helm now, Paul Coogan, and who's working really hard. And he's somebody that folks in Fall River can trust. And I've had a chance to work with him on some things. And I do think that he's got the city on the right track.
All right, I promise to get you out of here at 4:30. It's 4:29, so I'll let you end.
Just like that, Mike. Look, I hope everybody enjoys this weekend, and we're coming out of this, and that's exciting. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but just we don't want to come roaring out. There's still disease out there, and so some caution is necessary, and it's largely because there's still lots of vulnerable people out there who aren't vaccinated. We want people to get vaccinated, but the reality is that they are not all vaccinated, and some of them are prone to serious illness if they catch it. So we just have to keep that in mind. But I'm very confident that we're going to emerge strongly from the pandemic. We've been working very hard to prepare for our emergence. I've said all along, the pandemic's going to end someday, and we've got to be ready to come out swinging. And that's what we're going to be doing this summer. And you're going to see some of the stuff that's going to emerge.
All right, for everyone out there, our show next week will be on Friday. I think it's 3:30 because I'll be away on Thursday for a road trip. So we'll see you next Friday. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks, Mayor Mitchell, for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.